Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Here we go. Good Lord. Is mic on? Episode 157. What's wrong with Orny Adams? I'm not proud of this. And I don't like starting the podcast like this. I'm ashamed. I know this is a family podcast. I know there are kids listening. And ordinarily, I would not discuss this. But I feel like I have to. I feel like I'm obligated to discuss every aspect of my life, the good, the bad, the ugly. And this is certainly ugly. I don't feel completely comfortable talking about this. But I was flying back from New Jersey on United Airlines on Sunday. And I was offered by the flight crew a pack of crackers, assorted crackers. And maybe my gripe is with Summer Harvest, but savory snack mix. And here's an example of you just never know how your life can change in an instant. Like you never think about it. But I was just eating they got pretzels. They've got little flat crackers in here somewhere. They've got, where are those little Melba toast things? I pull out this to put in my mouth. United Summer Harvest. What appears to be, and there's no other interpretation of this. I'm sorry. And again, if there are kids listening, pull them away from this podcast immediately. This is not appropriate. But I'm an adult. Can you imagine if a young person had this experience? I go to pull out a cracker, and it's shaped like a penis. There's no other way to describe this but a phallic penis-looking cracker. I'll even go as far to say that this resembles mine quite a bit. And I go, without looking, and it should be shaped like this. It should be like a tube. Summer Harvest. How about some quality control? I'm in a public place. I'm famous. And I'm about to stick a penis-shaped cracker in my mouth. And the guy next to me, I said, and maybe a little too loud, because I can be loud, I said, what does this look like? Anybody? And he, his head down like this, and then the girl on the aisle right next to me, who had been, I'll be honest, quite flirty prior to this, now wanted nothing to do with me. I saw people covering their kids' eyes to shield them from the Summer Harvest penis-looking cracker. This almost went into my mouth in public. You want to know what's wrong with Orny Adams? This is what it's supposed to look like. Are there any lawyers listening? Stop the music. Are there any lawyers listening? I'd like to know, do I have a lawsuit, and do I sue Summer Harvest for the embarrassment, the shame of almost putting this in my mouth? Or do I sue United Airlines? I'd like all lawyers to contact me at what'swrong@ornyadams.com. That's the email. The episode starts now. Let's get dirty! 157, what's wrong with Orny Adams? You know, I don't like these because it's very garlicky. Little friend. Oh, look at the packaging. And I'm saving this, lawyers. I've got the proof. And stop the music. I know the guy who was sitting next to me on the plane has since contacted me on social media. I don't, maybe he knew who I was. You know, I'm kind of a big deal. I'll talk about that at the end. I'm going to talk about one of the greatest circumstances of me being recognized happened yesterday at a restaurant. Although one of the worst happened when I was at home, Lexington, Massachusetts, over the past week with my sisters. I will save this as evidence, and I do know the guy who was sitting next to me, verified on X, reached out to me because we were talking, and he's in technology, and he said, hey, these devices listen to us and then feed us content. He goes, you ever you're just talking about something, like maybe penis-shaped crackers, and all of a sudden you're fed products that have penis-shaped crackers in them? Well, he sent me a message on social media and he said, hey, after I got off the plane, I was fed your content. Now, I wonder, did he know me before that? I don't ask. I just assume nobody knows me. That's the way I wander through life. Episode 157 starts now. Let's get dirty. But I will reach out to that guy if I need to, if there's a lawsuit. There's a lawsuit. And I'm speaking for the kids. The kids should not be bringing this down a little, subjected to this. I mean, what if it was shaped as a gun? Would you object to that? What if it was shaped like a nuclear bomb? What if it was shaped like an otter? These dangerous otters. You got to have quality control. And if that means you have to hire more people and have them on the assembly belt, individually looking at every one of the crackers that goes into one of these packages to make sure they're not phallically shaped and or offensive. What if it was a middle finger? What if it was shaped like a yarmulke and I thought it was anti-Semitism? How does this happen? How do two crackers come together in the baking process and form like a penis? Some people, they're fortunate enough to find Mother Mary or Jesus on crackers and food. I find a penis-shaped cracker. I mean, that's what's wrong with Orny Adams. That's what's wrong with Orny Adams. If you follow me on TikTok, you saw yesterday that I was in Target. I'm not going to hide where I was. And people that do this need to go to prison. I'll put the video up. I'm not going to watch it live now and comment on it, but it's about 40 seconds of me trying to find the bathroom because the regular bathroom was being used. They clean it. Now, why, when they clean a bathroom, they have to shut it down? I don't know why they have to block it with the card. You got to learn how to clean. I had people cleaning my house yesterday. They didn't shut the whole house down. I was still allowed to be in parts of the house. So clean part by part. In fact, if I was a manager at Target, I would say, and I'd say very nicely, I'd say, hey, is there a way you could clean the bathroom, but still allow people to use it? And I wonder if it's against the law to shut down the entire bathroom like that for a non-emergency. If there are any lawyers listening, what's wrong at ornyadams.com? If I could sue Target, I'd like to sue anybody at this point. Just get out of this business. I did a show at a old age community in New Jersey last weekend. Went great. Old people stood, standing ovation. Even people in walkers stood. I didn't realize that, I watched them coming in. I didn't realize how many different shaped hearing aids there are. I thought there was just one, but some are really embedded and small. Some were a little bigger. One guy looked like he had an old phone receiver coming out of his head. That was the observation I had. But I wanted to close, but they were standing. So I did 70 minutes, and this could have been taped for a special. These people were with me the whole way. I mean, really hip old people. One guy in a wheelchair challenged me to a fight. He said that he was the bully when he grew up in the Bronx. I said, you? I'll kick your ass. I go, let's go. I'm not going to turn down a fight with an old guy in a wheelchair. I got that, I think. Although if I lost, it would be great if the old people videotaped and it went viral for getting beaten up by the old bully in a wheelchair from the Bronx. So I'm in Target, and I'm trying to find this mystery bathroom that I was told about. When you're famous, sometimes they tell you there's another bathroom. And it was like a family bathroom hidden behind the CVS pharmacy part of the Target. I found it. I don't think anybody knows about it. I shouldn't announce where this is because it'll go up in demand. And as I'm walking to the bathroom, I'm walking through the cold medicine section, and what do I see? A cream cheese on top of the cold medicine. Somebody was in the cold section, decided they wanted cream cheese. By the time they got to the cold medicine section, maybe that was a confusion. It was in the cold medicine section. Maybe it can refrigerate itself there. Stupid people. That person decided they didn't want the cream cheese anymore. Rather than walking 30 yards back to where you got it and putting it in the case, they left it out. Now, what do you do? First of all, the person that left it out, now I'm looking straight into the camera, that person should go to jail. You're going to kill one of these old people with food poisoning. And I just did a show for the old people, and I want them to live. Although at the end of the show, I got to be honest, I wanted to say, if you enjoyed the show tonight, be sure to put me in your will. I want to sue Target. So that person leaves the cream cheese out. I can imagine an employee that doesn't give a shit, which, can you imagine? There's actually people that work at these places that don't give a shit. Seems to be the trend. Would just take that cream cheese, which is now warm, which has created bacteria, and would put it back in the case. And then unknowingly, somebody like me would buy it. So I think I did the right thing. I marched it over. It's all on video on TikTok to the security guard. And I said, this was left out. It's warm. And hopefully he throws it out. But what do people, they don't think and they care so little about other people. I mean, would you want to buy a cream cheese that was sitting out in the cold aisle, in the cold and flu section? It was warm. So it had been there for a while. All I can say to everybody is thank God I found it. A responsible citizen of this world. Somebody who cares enough to do the right thing. I went 50 yards out of my way to find the security guard, the person that wanted the cream cheese. And who wants cream cheese and then decides they don't want cream cheese? Has anybody ever put cream cheese back? It's not like an item that you know what, maybe I don't need the cream cheese. Like that person should go to jail anyway, just for that. For being indecisive about their cream cheese decision. I'm thinking about it right now. I've never thought, you know what? I don't think I need cream cheese. Like you either want cream cheese or you don't. You know, nobody vacillates. Nobody's on the, I don't know, maybe. Should I get the cream cheese? Honey, should we get the cream cheese? I don't know. Do we have someone at home? I don't know if I like it on the bagels. You either are buying cream cheese or not. These are crazy people that don't know if they need the cream cheese or not. And then to just leave it in the middle of the cold and flu section, unrefrigerated, screw you. Screw you. And yet, I'm the one who ends up with a penis cracker almost on my lips. Let's talk about some good stuff. My new Costco hose is arriving today. This hose I bought about 2.5 years ago. It broke 13 months ago. All of a sudden, I don't know why this happens, but where it connects to, let's say, the wall outlet of the hose, that part of the hose, no, it wasn't. I'm sorry. Where the nozzle is, it always starts to leak out of there. And it's not, you gotta put a ring in there, whatever that thing is. I have a ton of those. No, it isn't that. Where it connects, there's like a bib around it or something, or a skirt, it leaks out of there. I don't know why it does it, but I've tried to fix it, and I just returned it after about 1.5 years. And then I got another one, the replacement, 13 months ago. That one just started leaking. I went on Costco to buy a new one, and I thought, you know what, I should see if I can return the replacement. And believe it or not, they're letting me. So my new hose is arriving today. So that's a brand new purchase. I said, I'm buying a different brand. I bought Orbit. They're the ones that make my sprayers. A little bit more expensive than the other ones, but they're good. If you got $4 extra for a hose nozzle, I suggest Orbit. And so now I have a brand new hose whose warranty starts today. And I'm getting rid of the old one. I got to send it back. Got to go to UPS, get all the water out of it. Anyway, so Costco, you're amazing. It's nice when a company still stands by their product and has integrity. Here's another country, Libby Glassware, Libbey Glassware. Oh, this isn't it. This is my new, look how much fun this is. This is my new flamingo glasses that I bought over July 4th. Remember, I went a little crazy? Ordered about 4 different pairs of flamingo glasses. Went on eBay, bid, and stuff like that. And I'll talk about flamingo gifts in a second, but let me finish the Libby story. So I have these Libby glasses, and they're ribbed. They're great. I love them. But the 14-ounce ones keep breaking. I bought a pack of 16, 8 14, and 8 18-ounce ones. I barely use the 18-ounce ones, but the 14-ounce ones keep breaking. And I reach out to Libby to see if I can just buy the 14-ounce ones. I don't need more. I've got too many of the 18-ounce ones. So I wrote Libby. Listen to this. Didn't ask for anything. Hi, I wrote. The 14-ounce tumblers keep breaking. I still have plenty of the 18-ounce ones that I use less. Do you sell packs of the 14-ounce ones only? I get, within an hour, an email back from Colin at Libby. Good afternoon. Thanks for contacting Libby, ! That's how I write an email. Now this guy, Colin, if he worked at Target, he'd put the cream cheese back. He says, we only have the 16-ounce mixed size pack available at this time. The 16-piece, meaning you get the 18-ounce ones I don't need. We only have the 16-piece mixed size pack available at this time for the Samba style. But we would be happy to, and now everybody knows I use Samba glasses. But we would be happy to assist with a free courtesy replacement to assist with the broken items. If you're located in the USA, you better believe I am. We can get a free set shipped to you if you provide your name and address. Let us know if you have any other further questions. Colin at Libby, A+, Libby Glassware, fan for life. I was home. I was in Boston with my family. I went to Salisbury Beach. I always get a shirt or some item. Look at this one. I think this was $8.99 or $7.99, maybe $12.99. I don't think it was. I hope I didn't pay more than $10. Salisbury Beach, established in 1638, Massachusetts. This is the beach I grew up going to as a kid with my grandparents. My grandfather would wake up every morning and get us donuts. We found the old house. Oh, that's what I meant to talk about. Oh, why don't I have that in my notes? Okay, I'll try and remember. Okay, my dad and I drove up. And it was really nice because I was asking my dad all these questions. He grew up going to Salisbury Beach. He went to Salisbury Beach at a time when they didn't have a refrigerator. A guy would deliver ice every day, and they'd put it in an ice box. That's how our refrigerator got the name Icebox. And then at one point, my father's father, my grandfather, would bring the refrigerator from their home to Salisbury Beach. They would spend the entire summer there. And my dad had a whole group of friends in Salisbury Beach, and they never talked during the year. They were just friends for the summer, and then that was it. And then they all went off to college, and none of them ever spoke again. I got all this information. It was really a nice bonding trip. But I remember going to Salisbury Beach. I don't remember where we slept in my grandparents' cottage, but it was all of us. I remember going to the beach every day, and my grandfather on the beach smoking cigars, and it was fun. And playing skee ball. I played skee ball with my grandmother for hours. She indulged me with this love I had for skee ball. And I go every time. I play with my dad this time, and I guarantee it's the same machines that I played on with my grandmother. In fact, my dad told me he worked there. This place called Playland. So I learned about my dad's first jobs. My dad sold ice cream on the beach. And I learned about his life there, what it was like, and I learned about my grandparents. And then we tried to find the house that we had rented. And so we're walking around, it's this private property, and we see some people out on a balcony. You know, these guys, well, very nice. And I said to them, they said, what's going on? How you doing? They're very friendly. And I said, I think we used to rent that house. No, I said, my father grew up, going to this house every summer. And they said, did you hear about the woman in that house? I'm like, what? No, what happened? Killed her boyfriend. So the house I used to sleep in as a kid, I got to get Jim Clemente on to talk about this. She poisoned her boyfriend with antifreeze. This happened in like 2022, 2023. Trial still hasn't happened, but I've got to talk about that on my next episode. This woman and how they caught her. She was like 60 something. He might have been 40 something. And he poisoned, she made him shakes in the morning and poisoned him with antifreeze. That's a reason not to date older people or anybody. Let me talk about the flamingos quickly. So this one, which is lit up right here, I got to be honest, whoever gave this to me, there's this family, they come to all my shows. This flamingo just knocked over. This is, oh, great. That one's expensive. That one's an antique I bought at an antique shop. All right, this one lights up. It's from this family. They live in the Los Angeles area. They come to all my shows. It's a parent and a daughter. I wish I remember their name. They're very supportive, great laughers, always buy merchandise, always give me a flamingo gift. But this one has this thing too. I know they watch the podcast. So they gave me this. I was at Flappers. Thank you, everyone that came to Flappers. And in Burbank. And they gave me this. And it has a thing on the sides that says press it. And you can see it lights up, right? So it works. I go to take it out. It's attached. Looks like a security thing here. I can't get this out. I've tried to pull. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. How do you get that? I'm an adult and I can't figure out this gift. I want to get my flamingos out. This is the battery pack. I would have worn them. I would have put them back here. I'm turning into an old lady with all my flamingo, but look at this. I mean, it clearly works. How do I get... Well, maybe it doesn't work. No, now it doesn't work. Now it just goes on and off. All right, well, it was fun while it worked. Thanks for this. What a great gift. If you give me a gift, and I think everybody that comes to my show should, please don't make them complicated. Well, why isn't it staying on? What's going... Oh, damn it. This is what happens. We started making stuff in America. This is what's going on. Anyway, that's a joke. Well, I don't... Oh, here's a warning. Ingestion hazard. Yeah, I wasn't going to eat them, but I would like to get them out of the package. This says, pull out, try me before use. What? Sounds like something a woman would say to me. Pull out, try me before use. Anyway, somebody help me with this. Somebody. Here's something I figured out the other day. I should read the text messages from my friend who I said, let's go grab lunch. If I say to you, hey, you look good, just say thanks. I don't need to hear your diet. Well, I don't eat lunch anymore. You know what I did? I cut out peas. Yes, snow peas and broccoli. Oh, you know, I don't eat after 2 p.m. Like, nobody cares. Just wanted to say you look good. I don't need to, like, now measure my life. Because you know what? I am eating peas. I am eating lunch. I am eating after 2 p.m. I am what I am, and that's what I am. I'm Orny, the Popeye man. So if I say you look good, just say thanks. I said to my buddy, Dave, went to college with him, I said, let's grab a lunch. And he said, oh, I don't eat lunch anymore. I'm like, we went out to lunch last week. When did this start? When did this sacrifice start? I'm going to talk about dating. I should talk about dating. I'm going to talk about dieting. Same thing. Same amount of pain. At the end, I will talk about it. I've dieting and Ozempic face. So stick around for that. And you certainly want to hear the story at the end about how I got recognized and how great that was. Now, and from the Boston Globe, you know, I sit in the morning and read the Globe, Boston Globe, and New York Times with my dad. I was about to leave for Las Vegas. I'm in Las Vegas again next week. I'll be at Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club. I'm coming up in Portland, Maine. I'll be at the Empire Comedy Club in August. And I just added a date. I'll be in Arizona, Desert Ridge, Arizona, Memorial Day weekend. This is all in preparation for my special, which I'm shooting, which is a headache. I never imagined it would be this much work to produce this thing. The executive producer, the person that hires all the cameramen and makes sure they're the day of and the cameras work and works on the lighting and camera angles and does all that stuff, hires editors. Well, he just got another job that obviously pays more, and so he's no longer available. And we had a date, everything was negotiated, and that is a major setback. And now we don't know what to do because I've got to put a deposit down on the venue. And it's a headache. I'm trying to get not original, but music, which is public domain, like a classical music piece, performed by a friend of mine who offered to do the recording to actually replicate it. I don't know what the word, to do what an orchestra would do. And so there's a lot of moving parts here. And I'm trying to get as many people, like there are people in my neighborhood that are really big in this business for certain things. And I'm trying to get their help. And there's going to be an energy behind this. In fact, I'm thinking there'll be an option where you, even if you can't go, you can buy a ticket that somebody that can't afford a ticket in the LA area can use. So I'm just trying to create this energy. And now we're trying to delay putting the deposit down on the venue. This is all my own money. Trying to find a new production company to fill in for the old guy. And it's a bummer because I was looking forward to working with him. He shoots a lot of stuff for Netflix and Hulu and Amazon, and he knows how to do this and the specs. And so it's a little scary when you're putting a lot of your own money down. So that it's torture. And I'm spending every waking minute. I told Adam Genevizian, who's directing this, I said, this is my old manager. I said, over here, I said, thank you for your help. I said, I know you're really busy, but minutes feel like days here. Like I'm being tortured. I just want to write this thing. I'm having enough trouble that I have an abundance of material. I'm trying to whittle it down to a great 60 minutes. I don't want to go longer than that because of attention spans. And I'm not sleeping. I'm under a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. So I didn't need this. Walking around the house, watering the day before I leave for Las Vegas. See a spider on my wall. I see spiders all the time. And I said, well, what kind is this? And well, it looks a little different. Take a picture. I upload it to Chat GPT, whatever GPT stands for. Sounds like a car. I got a Ford GPT. GPT says, that looks like a black widow. I'm like, well, what? I know we have them here in California. Never seen one on my property. So I got the bug spray, spider spray, to kill it. And I murdered the black widow. And Chat GPT, excuse me, I'm a little close to GPT. I just call it GPT. We're on GPT terms. GPT says it'll have the hourglass, a red hourglass, a famous red hourglass, but it's on the bottom. And this is on a wall. So if you could see the bottom, we could confirm that it is a black widow. Well, I sprayed it. It landed on its back, and there was the hourglass. I almost died. I was almost killed. You guys almost lost me before I was able to do my 4th comedy special in October here in Los Angeles. By the way, send me an email if you live in Los Angeles, what's wrong at ornyadams.com if you want to attend the special. I'm not saying free tickets. I announce this on stage, but you'll get a link to buy tickets. What's wrong at ornyadams.com, or if you have any questions or anything like that. But the black widow, turns out it doesn't kill humans unless you're immune compromised or young or old. They're called black widows because they mate and the women kill the husband afterwards, which is basically what human women do to their husbands. They whittle them down and down and down and down. Anyway, I'm kidding. Sure, there are beautiful, healthy relationships out there. So the black widow, as it turns out, is not vicious towards humans. They don't go out of their way. In fact, the black widow is going to scramble and get out of the way. They don't attack. They're not aggressive. They're docile. They hide in dark places. So the only thing you have to worry about is, like, if I go into my shed, I should wear gloves when I move stuff because there could be a black widow. And if you press on it, it will bite you. And I watched videos on YouTube. People handle they had just had black widows crawling on them and they just didn't freak out and then they got it off. And so they proved. I think that what I'm trying to say is we have misconceptions about some of these animals, like sharks, maybe. I don't think so, but there's this woman called the Shark Whisperer. I saw this on Netflix. I'll tell you one misconception we have, which is the other way, is otters. People think they're cute because they float on their backs. You know who else floats on their backs? Serial killers. That's right. Jeffrey Dahmer was known to float on his back. The Hillside Strangler floated on his back. Wasn't there a whole scene in Silence of the Lambs where that guy, Anthony Hopkins, floated on his back? Not so cute. Just because something floats on his back doesn't mean it's cute. I'm here to create otter awareness. And I'm otter serious about this. So I watched this Shark Whisperer on Netflix. I think it's irresponsible. That's my own thought. This woman, beautiful blonde, which I think is a reason probably most people watched it, or to see if she got bit. Nothing like watching a beautiful blonde get bit. So she swims and she free dives with sharks and sits there and she thinks that by her hand motions, she can control the shark. Like the shark, she's like, like a crossing guard with sharks. And they feel her energy and she pets the shark. I mean, these are real sharks. Somehow she hasn't been bitten. I can't figure it out. I think it's irresponsible because kids see this and they think, well, I can swim with a shark. And no, you probably can't. Like these people that I see these videos of these guys doing this with alligators in the water and stuff. I mean, crazy. It's just a matter of time. These are wild animals. Anyway, this woman's name is Ocean Ramsey. Now, how her parents knew she was going to want to swim with sharks and knew to name her Ocean. My name is Don't Go in the Ocean, Adams. I'm Shore Adams. That's my name, Shore Adams. Ocean Ramsey, who is known for her free diving interactions with sharks. Well, she feels like she has a kinship, that she's connected to the sharks, just like that grizzly man. Remember that guy? What was his name? Timothy Treadwell. Well, didn't end well for Treadwell. Treadwell was attacked by the grizzlies that he thought he had a connection with when the grizzlies got a little hungry and they found him in his tent. So these are animals, and you can't forget that. So if you're watching this, just remember, and maybe it's Jane Goodall that started all this with the chimps, and I don't even know if you can say chimps anymore, chimpanzees. She would befriend the chimps. Now, chimps are smarter animals. I am one step away from a chimp, my brain. So it's different with the chimps. But even then, look at the chimp lady. She had a connection with the chimps, and then they ripped off her face. Remember that? Someone's pet chimp ripped off somebody's face. I mean, these are animals. You know how we have bad days? They have bad days. And I just think Ocean Ramsey, is that her name? Will end up being killed by a shark. And then they always say this, I wouldn't want my shark euthanized. You remember Siegfried and Roy? Remember they had a thing with their animals too? Didn't end well for them. One of them got attacked and mauled by their tiger. It's going to happen. I'm trying to think of other people that have these exotic pets that they think, oh yeah, we got an understanding. Well, there's a misconception about these animals. So Ocean thinks that sharks are perceived incorrectly and have a bad reputation going back to Jaws. Well, I have a bad reputation going back to when I was in a documentary. People still think I'm that person, and I'm different than I was 6 months ago. This guy, so I just started reading about, in fact, I go to Reddit. I went to Reddit. I love Reddit. Beginning Dark 9580, user Beginning Dark 9580 said, as someone who has had the misfortune of meeting this woman, meeting Ocean Ramsey, and trying to have a conversation about the dangerous narrative she pushes, yeah, people accuse her of building an Instagram following. He said, I could not recommend not watching this documentary more. That's a double negative. So if I take out the two knots, it would read, I could recommend watching this documentary more. I think that's what he meant. I think he meant I could not recommend watch. No, I could not. No, he has it right. I could not recommend not watching this documentary more. Okay. There is a reason I and so many other marine biologists, oh, he's a marine biologist. Oh, this is getting interesting, who has interacted with her, discredit her work. There are wild animals that should not be pet and treated like stuffies. What's a stuffy? Is that those people that get dressed up as fur animals and have sex? And showing people that this is not only okay, but is encouraging people to mimic, good word, these behaviors. She also blocks anyone and everyone who doesn't praise her on social media pages. Oh no, I'm about to be blocked. I'm going to get blocked by Ocean. Ocean, don't block me. The act of touching animals in itself is hurting the animal. This is a marine biologist saying this. This is Beginning Dark 9580. These are wild animals that should not be habituated by humans. While I do agree she has done some good and has inspired many people to love sharks, I also think she's going to block you anyway, dude. I also think it's telling that people of Hawaii, especially those in the diving community, do not respect her. As a Hawaiian resident, I have seen firsthand diving boats actively dissuade tourists from engaging with her content, correcting incorrect information, and even moving their boats if they are near where she is to keep their guests safe and discourage them from mimicking her behavior. Aquarium employees field misinformation questions all the time from her content as well. So now they've got to answer to her. And sure, it's easy to say someone would have to be shockingly stupid to try and do what she does, but that's simply not true. If you would watch dozens of videos of someone petting a tiger shark, assigning personalities to them, and talking about them as if they were docile creatures, it could create a false sense of security and lead you to believe you could do what she's doing. I couldn't. I'm going nowhere near a shark. I don't even go in the ocean. That's why I'm sure Orny Adams, and I'm sure about that. You can be a great conservationist without a degree, the same way you can be a horrible conservationist with a degree. When it comes, is that the right word? Conservationist? When it comes down to is respecting nature in a way that promotes ba 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 ba. Anyway, curious your thoughts on that whole thing. I don't think anybody should be swimming with sharks unless they got the nozzle around them. You know what I mean? Like those dogs. Some dogs are like, yeah, this dog's so dangerous, we got to put a nozzle around its mouth. Which is what I'm sure most people want to do to me. Let's talk about the way I look. Let's talk about that. Because, you get to a certain age. I'm going to be honest. You can't control the size of your head anymore. It's over. Diet, anything, doesn't matter. The head, for some reason, just keeps growing and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you say, well, how do you know? Well, put on a pair of old sunglasses. Tell me how those look. The head keeps growing. And I'm not happy about this. Or my snake hips. But I'm not going to do anything about it. And I'd like to discuss the dangers of Ozempic. Because I just think, I have no research, I'm not an expert, I'm just a guy that puts cream cheese back or hands it in that's been sitting out of the refrigerator. I'm just a guy who, almost put a phallic-looking cracker in his mouth on a plane. Thank you, United. Thank you, Summer Harvest. I want them to make it right. Both of those companies. I wonder if I could sue for a lot of money. That'd be great. Hey, Summer Harvest, let me look at the packaging. Do you want to know the lot number here? Want to know the numbers it says on the back of this thing? Happy to tell you. Begins with 28. Contact me. I'll let you know. The term Ozempic face. So this is what's going on. People are taking Ozempic. A lot of people are losing weight. Now, when you say you look good, nobody goes, yeah, Ozempic. No, they're faking. Yeah, I don't drink orange juice in the morning anymore. Or you know what? I don't eat egg yolks. Turmeric, however you say it. I call it turmeric. It's turmeric. Somebody snuck an R in there. So what's going on is people are losing weight. They're losing so much weight and muscle and the collagen or whatever from their face, and they look hollow and look older. And now, I had a woman confess to me last night, a friend. She's about to turn late 30s, and she's thinking of getting, something done to her face, Botox. She's gorgeous, very attractive. I said, don't do it. Don't. You're very attractive. It'll only make you look older. A lot of this plastic surgery makes younger people look older. And I was being honest with her. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm rich. If she needed something done to her face, I would have paid for it. But people are trying to change themselves. Like, I have snake hips. My pants don't stay up. It's not I have no ass. I have no hips, like a snake. Okay? I'm not going to try and change that. I'm not going to get hip implants. I'm not going to get something done. I live with it. I accept it. My face is getting so fat that I have to get triple XL sunglasses now. Am I going to change it? No. No. At some point, you have to accept who you are. People are taking Ozempic. Now, I understand the people who are obese, the people who have type 2 diabetes and need it for medical reasons. I get that. But there are people that just want to lose 10 more pounds. And then their face sinks in. Now they got to get plastic surgery. The term Ozempic face may speak to our times, but its symptoms caused by a decrease in subcutaneous fat which makes our faces plump. The treatments sought after their weight loss include, ready for this, injectable dermal fillers to help restore facial volume, facelifts, and fat transfers. I got a lot of fat over here if anybody needs it. I got a lot of fat. My whole life I thought I should get liposuction, but I never did it. Now you're listening to a guy right now, Shore Adams, who has been dieting since the 7th grade. When everybody else got the chicken nuggets, got the fun meals, got the tater tots at lunch, I got a club salad every single day. Every day. I've been dieting. I've been unhappy with the way I look, my fat head, my snake hips, my whole life. Nothing I can do about it. I feel blessed that I have a brain that can create comedy. I'm happy with other stuff. Can't have everything. But I never seriously thought I should get liposuction. Now I'm starting to get little man titties, old man titties. And I thought, should I have that sucked out? And I said, no, forget it. Like, you can even sort of see it in the video, the Target video I posted yesterday of me returning the cream cheese on TikTok. So according to CNN, this article, and I also saw one, this week must be, let's all just talk about Ozempic and celebrities getting plastic surgery, because the Hollywood Reporter had an article too. So this woman, Buongiorno, she's a New Jersey facelift patient, but also has undergone several other procedures with Dr. Burley, including, this is because of Ozempic, arm and thigh lifts, didn't even know you could get that, to address her excess skin. Like, the skin is elastic. Like, once it stretches, it's not going back 100%. Well, I guess it is. I guess it's overstretched. It's not elastic. She estimates that after her upcoming breast lift, so she's had her breast, thighs, arm lifted, fat grafting she's getting done, and lower eyelid surgery, she will have spent $80,000 on cosmetic procedures. Meanwhile, people starving all over the world, people being bombed. We got people that don't have water, health care. But yeah, let's spend $80,000 to not accept ourselves. How about sending that overseas or sending even people here starving? People that can't pay rent. $80,000. Not to judge you, buongiorno. But here's the thing. A recent peer review study found, now I found this out my whole life too, as much as I've dieted, you always go back to where you were. You can't fight your genetics. Most people using the drugs for weight loss quit within a year. Data present, because they get to where they are, they go, I don't have to do this anymore. I'd like to have an appetite back. Data Data. I'm going to go data. Presented at this year's European Congress on Obesity, meanwhile, suggested that patients typically return to their original weight within 10 months of stopping use. With University of Oxford, you can tell I didn't go there, I can't even say it. University of Oxford researchers calling the finding a cautionary note about using medication without a more comprehensive approach to weight loss or research. This is all new. I'd rather take stuff that's been around for a while. I want to test it out on rats first and then other humans. And then I'll take it. I was going to talk about my ride to New Jersey from Boston. I made that trip a million times. I used to date girls in Stamford, Connecticut, and New Rochelle, and then I'd go to New York City. I've been on that 84 million times. I've been on that Merritt, that two-lane Merritt, which is a disaster. But, so I read an article, getting back to the plastic surgery, in the Hollywood Reporter. I guess what's going on right now is that famous people are just confessing to all their plastic surgery. I guess it started with the Jenner, Kylie Jenner, or whatever, the Kardashians, however you say that name. They've started just saying, you know what? Here's what I had done. In fact, one woman reached out to Kylie Jenner and said, hey, you have perfect breasts. What did you do? She goes, oh, this is the formula. This is what I told the surgeon. This many cc's in the plastic breasts, and here's the name of the doctor. They're giving out their doctors. These doctors are like rock stars now. And young people are getting plastic surgery. You've got to accept themselves. The greatest thing you can do in life is forgive yourself and accept yourself. And if you have any questions whether it's genetics or not, look at your parents. Look at your grandparents. When you're all together for Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever holidays, Ramadan, I want you to look around and go, I don't know, we all kind of look alike. We're all the same hips. We all have big calves, or whatever it is. We're all same receding hairlines. I want to say this for women. I think natural breasts are beautiful. In fact, I wish Summer Harvest would put in their snack packs some examples of crackers shaped like natural breasts. I think that would set a good example. And by the way, this penis is not circumcised. I object to that, my penis cracker. Is this, are you able to see how much, is this reading on camera, how much this looks like a penis? Oh, here's the Melba toast that I was talking about before. Are you able, I'm going to put it here. Is this reading? I'll put it on the camera too. Can you see? Yeah, you see that, right? Everybody see that? It's, I think we know where the shaft is, and these would be the balls. And again, I'm not proud of discussing this, but I feel at some point it's my duty to create an awareness when stuff like this goes on and to be prepared, because anybody could be on a plane at any time now, open their summer harvest pack, and, oh, wow, a penis just entered my day. Didn't see that coming when I'm flying on United. Just wanted to get home from New Jersey. Didn't realize it. Everybody's confession, that Barbara Corcoran, that woman that's on Shark Tank, she's unrecognizable now. Same with Ozzy Osbourne's wife, Sharon, unrecognizable. The daughter, unrecognizable. And sorry about their loss. It was really sad. He played that concert, Ozzy, and then he just died. My buddy at the gym was there. Can't believe that. Saw the final concert in Birmingham, England. But the thing is, first of all, Barbara Corcoran, sorry, you're older than me. Like, you don't have to do what is the trend now. Oh, now, I'm going to confess and tell you what plastics are. We really don't care. We don't care. And you're not fooling anybody. A lot of people would look better just natural without the plastic surgery. I have friends, women that do it. And it's like, you're not fooling anybody. So I discourage people. Just accept you. I'll never be physically what I want. But I'm funny on stage. I found my calling. That's where my genetics lie. That's where my genetic advantage. Find your genetic advantage. This is a What's Wrong with Orny Adams PSA. Find your genetic advantage and exploit it. Whatever that is. And hopefully it's not jumping from one building to another and making videos on TikTok and Instagram. Those kids are going to die too. They're like swimming with the sharks, trying to pet sharks, jump in between buildings. I mean, if I had kids, I would be so afraid they're watching this content and they think, like the guy who dresses up like a bird and flies in between rocks off of mountains, you know, like free diving. One of them always ends up splattered on the side of a mountain. Never doesn't end well for a lot of them. Oh, how about Steve Irwin? Oh, he spoke to the animals and then a stingray killed him. I mean, the examples are endless. Endless. So this confessional thing. Now, of course, a lot of these celebrities are disclosing who's doing their plastic surgery because they're getting free plastic surgery. We're onto that. You know what I mean? Look at, I should get a lot of free summer harvest after this podcast. I'll mention this. I get coffee shipments every month from Coachella Valley Coffee Roasters, Coachella Valley Roasters. I don't know how to say it. Coachella Valley Coffee. Maybe that's what it's called. Coffee's great. They're not paying me to say this, but I'll thank them for being kind enough and generous. They're very nice. I wish I could. Cliff is the owner, and Sim, is that the other guy I talked to over there? Anyway, thanks, guys. Thanks for the coffee. But that's why they're doing it. There's a reason people do things. So we're being confessional, but we're also getting $80,000 worth of free plastic surgery if we mention the name of the surgeon. This was in the Boston Globe. You're listening to Orny Adams. This is What's Wrong with Orny Adams. This is episode 57? I always get that wrong. Can't believe I've done that many of these. This is from the Metro section of the Boston Globe, dated July 20th, 2025. And if my neighbor Neil is listening, now Neil, very talented, will be involved with my next comedy special taping here in Los Angeles. He is asked to be involved, and I'd love to have him. He's a good friend. And you'll like this story, Neil. He's a podcast listener. He listens, smart guy, listens to this podcast. This is what I've noticed. A lot of smart people listen to this podcast. This would be the biggest podcast in the world if we didn't, if a majority of the people weren't stupid, which is the problem. All right, Neil, listen to this. Man faces charges in Nantucket for tree dispute. For decades, Patricia and Richard Belford took great pride in tending to their property on Nantucket, planting a medley of trees that grew strong and tall to form a barrier of lush greenery around their home. I love this article because it's about like rich people fighting. So when the guy who took care of their house, Matt Eisman, went to check on it, half the trees were cut down. 16 Leyland cypresses were reduced to stumps. You got to see the pictures. They barely even, they left 3 feet stumps. They didn't even do a good job cutting them down. Who ever cut them down? Stay tuned to the article. You're going to have to find out who it was. This guy shows up, Eisman, and he sees a worker cleaning up the debris. The landscaper told Eisman that he had been instructed to remove the debris by the owner of the neighboring property, Jonathan Jacoby. Eisman said this was just a disgusting scene. Even outside of my professional work, I've never seen a neighbor act like that and just deceive another neighbor like that. Well, come to Los Angeles. You know, it's not there's some bad neighborhood disputes here. So the Los Angeles people planting trees where they shouldn't plant trees. We got the opposite problem. We got people, in my neighborhood, we got people planting trees on DWP property, blocking people's views. Eisman told the worker to leave, called the police. The police come, and the guy said, the neighbor, Jacoby, says, you know what? I got their permission. Now, these people, They're older people. They've now moved to Florida. They're living in an assisted old age home in Florida. He thought he could get away with chopping down the trees. Now listen, these people, I should be performing at that old age home. I didn't realize I was so good at performing for old people. But the old people stood for me the other night. They loved it. There wasn't a second of the show they weren't there and clapping and applauding. And I thought, wow, maybe art is alive. I also thought that when my parents took me to, there's something called the Met Opera in HD, where they record the opera and you go to a movie theater and watch it. And it was like a 3-hour performance. And I sat there, as the youngest person in the theater, for 3 hours, riveted by this Verdi opera. Now, remember that I went to see Verdi opera because that will come back into play in my professional career in the future. So that's what we call an Easter egg, kids. Went with my parents. It was fun. The Belfords have denied that they gave him permission. He claims he got permission. Like the old people, thinks the old people are delusional and losing their minds and don't remember that they didn't give him permission to cut down the trees. They have filed a civil lawsuit against Jacoby, alleging that he cut down their trees without permission to enhance the ocean view from his own residence. Last week, criminal charges. I love Nantucket. I want to move to Nantucket. They're going to criminal charges against a guy cutting down a tree. If you called the police because somebody cut down your tree, they'd laugh. They wouldn't even show up here in Los Angeles. Nantucket, they don't mess around. Criminal charges. Jacoby, 55, is accused of cutting down the neighbor's trees. I've got to turn to page B4. It's the sound of the newspaper. Remember this sound? I was never good at the fold. Oh, here we go. All right. You can always tell when I've read the paper. Cutting down the neighbor's trees to enhance the views from his own property. Jacoby didn't return request for comment. Yeah, no kidding. Jacoby is charged with vandalizing property, a felony that carries a sentence of up to 3 years in state prison. Wouldn't that be great? What are you here for? Cut down some trees. What's that? What's that? Hold on. You imagine him at the mess hall?
Hey, you can't sit there.
Oh, where can
Hey, are you in a gang yet? Have you joined a prison gang yet?
Yeah, where are the other people that are here for cutting down trees?
Is that what you did? You cut down trees? You're in prison for cutting down trees?
Yeah. I mean, this guy's gonna be beat up and tortured. A tree cutter, 55-year-old millionaire is going to go to prison. I hope Nantucket does the right thing and lock this guy up. We need repercussions for people that take the law. It's not even taking the law. It's like he went on their property and cut down their trees after they told him he couldn't. And he said, oh, but they gave me permission. Oh, bullshit. They took pride in that property. Everybody knew it. They got a kid. The kid, this guy doesn't stand a chance. He put his house on the market for $10 million, had bought it like 2011 or 8 for $1.4 million. Nobody bought it. Puts it back on the market. Ready for this? Here's the new listing. This is, great evidence. The description now boasted that the contemporary beach compound offers sweeping views of the Atlantic Ocean. He purchased the property for $1.8 million in 2009. God, I hate when the rich just get richer. The Belfords have been there since 1980 and just love their property. The Belfords were known for meticulously maintaining their property. And they consider the trees part of their property. Anyway, the property damage from the home is estimated to be $486,000. Well, these are expensive cypress trees. According to the civil complaint, which said the family viewed the trees as part of their home and history. I get that. Everything on my property, that's the way I feel. Citing a state law, this just gets better. Oh, Neil, I just love Nantucket, buddy. Citing a state law, the complaints note that Patricia Belford, the trustee of the Belford Family Trust, I got to get a family trust. It would make me feel more successful, sound successful. Is it ready to this? They're entitled to 3 times the amount of damages which amounts to $1.4 million. I hope they decide that it's really $1 million, and then he owes $3 million, and then I hope he has to go to prison, state prison, with other people that have committed heinous crimes. This is a heinous crime. Cutting down beautiful trees that provide us with oxygen and shade and beauty. And you plant these trees and you watch them grow. I have stuff on my property. In fact, I wish I knew what it was, but I planted a bush. I bought it at Sunset Nurseries a couple of months ago. The guy said it won't flower until next year. Guess what? Little flowers are about to show up. I see the little buds, and it's bringing me great joy. Now, if this asshole Jacoby came onto my property and cut that down, oh, there would be hell to pay. I'm going to close on this. And this has been a wonderful episode. And I want to thank Eric Stoltz for mastering the audio. Eric is, he's still on board for the special. He hasn't bailed yet. He hasn't gotten a better gig. Actually, he's done all of them. He's the only one that's been there this will be the fourth. It gives me great pride to say that I've worked with somebody for 4 specials. I think that is special in itself. That somebody else believed in me this much and gets joy out of it. Eric, I think you get joy out of this, right? I wish you were here to explain yourself. But Eric, thank you for mastering the audio. My tour dates are on ornyadams.com/tour. And I'm just getting some of this stuff out of the way. And if you want to email me, it's what'swrong@ornyadams.com. Now, I've been recognized. I don't mean to brag. Happens every day. Anytime I leave the house, I get recognized. And I forget that people know me. And a lot of times, I wish you'd just go, hey, I know you. If I'm in an elevator with you, say, hey, I know you. Don't reach out to me later on social media or sneak and take a picture of me like that person in Chicago that caught me putting Tabasco on my pancakes. I know it's a little bit weird, but I thought, let's try this. Nobody's ever done it before. And I just happened to do it one time in my life, and somebody caught it, a picture of it, and posted it. Can't do anything. That's why I'm afraid to date. It's like, people will screenshot what you say. You could be trying to be funny, be misunderstood. You can be painted any way people want to paint you. Anyway. Scary times. I'm sick of being recorded. I want to go back to being able to leave my house and not be recorded. I want to just be free. I want the freedom of no cameras. And I feel self-conscious because people do know me. I forget that. Like the time I got into a fight with the guy on the bicycle that cut me off, and I rolled down my window and I yelled, and the guy couldn't have seen me. And just by my voice, I heard him go, is that Orny Adams? So, I'm in Lexington. I'm gonna have three stories. Well, I gave the first one already, the guy on the plane who witnessed me eating the phallic cracker. I'm in Lexington, out to eat at a restaurant with my sisters. We're doing sibling lunch. Nice. It's going great. I get up to go to the bathroom. I come back from the bathroom, walking through the restaurant, and these 2 older ladies look like they could have been my teacher, that type of age difference. They said, excuse me. I go, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Another Orny Adams sighting. How do they know me? I said, yes. I said, could we get some to-go boxes? So you know what I did? I marched right into the kitchen because I'm famous, and I got them to-go boxes. Because when you're famous, you can do that. And I go, I don't even work here, but I'm going to get you your boxes. And I went and got boxes. Then the table next to them said, we need boxes, and I got to go get them boxes. So, anyway, I thought that was funny. I came back, my sister's like, whoa, how did they know you? I said, no, they just wanted to-go boxes. And then when we left, a guy in a UPS truck, he goes, hey, how do I know you? I said, Coach Teen Wolf. He goes, I knew it. I said, then why didn't you say that? Why'd you say, hey, how do I know you? I can tell. This is one of the great talents I have. I can tell when somebody recognizes me for stand-up comedy, which I weight higher than being recognized as Coach from Teen Wolf. I want to be known from stand-up, which means now it's never going to happen because I put it out there in the universe. Guy on the plane recognized me. Then yesterday I'm out to eat. And I'm at this nice restaurant. It's a sort of family, it's very family run. It's very cool. And it's not LA-ish at all or Hollywood. And I feel like nobody knows me. I feel some anonymity there, and I feel left alone. And they let me sit there with my notes, or they don't bother me. And the owners never even like made eye contact or said hi. And so they're outside. I'm leaving with a friend yesterday, and I see them drilling. They have like a drill, electric drill with an auger, which I have. I drill holes, and then I put the poison for the moles, or you can use it to plant stuff. And I saw them going around a tree, and so I thought they must be putting fertilizer in there, or maybe the tree's infested. So I asked them, and they were drilling just to see where the roots were because they're going to put a new patio. And as I'm having this discussion, the owner comes out. And I don't want the owner to think like I'm questioning his workers. So I said, I was just asking them. I go, hey, how you doing? He goes, good. I was just asking them if they were putting fertilizer. He goes, no, we're doing a patio. Every year we do something for the restaurant. Last year was all new wallpaper. And, they really care. And I said, well, it's a great restaurant. I said, and the waiters are unbelievable. He said, they've been here for 11 years. I said, they're the best. And that's what makes this restaurant great. And apparently it comes from the top down. And he said, thank you. And he put out his hand and he said his name. And I said, hi, my name's Orny. And he got a little look on his face. He goes, as in Orny Adams? I said, yeah. He said, I can't believe there are two Ornys. I said, no. I am Orny Adams. He goes, you are? I mean, that was amazing. That this guy knew.
What's his name, Kev?
He knew Orny Adams. He knew the name. But he didn't know he was talking to Orny. Stop the music! There are the sirens going for the Orny Adams sighting sirens. This guy didn't know he was talking to Orny Adams, but he knew Orny Adams. He knew that name. Man, that brought me joy. What's Wrong with Orny Adams? Episode 157's in the can.
What's his name, Kev?
Now we go find out if the Fed lowered interest rates or left them as is, which I think they probably did. Who knows what the market's doing? I could be a lot richer than when this podcast started. Listen to those sirens. Listen to that. Whoa, that's fire. That's not good. That's not good. You don't want to hear fire engines coming up. Not in Los Angeles. I'm moving to Nantucket, everybody, where when trees are cut down. I'm a little concerned because I'm tired. I'm not too sure I delivered the story at the end, the greatest Orny Adams sighting of all time. It was clear, right? The guy didn't know it was me, but he knew the name Orny Adams. He thought there was only one Orny in the world, and it turns out he was talking to me. You know what it reminds me of? One time I was in line at the dollar store in Arizona. I'll be there, by the way, the end of August. I will be at Desert Ridge Improv. And this isn't good, these sirens. And I'm in line, and the woman in front of me said, you know who you look like? Robert Downey Jr. And I said, thanks. And then the woman at the register said something like, no, he looks more like Billy Joel. And then I said, you know what? A lot of people say I look like the coach from Teen Wolf. And the woman at the register said, no, I watched that show. You look like Robert Downey Jr. What's wrong with that, Orny Adams? We'll see you again on the next episode. This has been a joy. This has been a pleasure. I now have to go make sure my neighborhood is not on fire.